Have you ever wondered how autopilot really works on a plane? And can it really fly the aircraft all by itself? You're sitting on a flight, and the pilot's voice comes over the intercom, saying the plane is now on autopilot. It sounds like science fiction, but it's a crucial part of modern aviation. Autopilot is a system that helps the pilots control the plane, but how much of the flying is actually done by the computer? It's not like a car's cruise control, where the system just maintains speed. Autopilot is much more complex. And here's the surprising part. Autopilot has been around for decades, but it's still a bit of a mystery to many of us. So, how does it work, and what exactly does it do? We'll take a closer look at the autopilot system. And by the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of how it helps get you safely from takeoff to landing. So let's dive in and explore the world of autopilot and find out if it's really as autonomous as it sounds. Vocabulary: autopilot, aircraft, computer, cruise. Vocabulary: autopilot, aircraft, computer, cruise dash vocabulary. Autopilot, aircraft, computer, aviation. What if I told you that autopilot systems aren't just a simple on or off switch, but rather a sophisticated tool with different modes that help the plane fly smoothly and efficiently? You see, autopilot systems have various modes, kind of like the gears on your car, where each gear has its own specific job, like helping you climb a steep hill or cruise down the highway. Similarly, autopilot modes help the plane climb, cruise, or descend, and each mode has its own unique function, like keeping the plane level or adjusting its speed. For instance, the altitude mode helps the plane maintain a steady height, while the heading mode keeps the plane on course. And here's the surprising part. Pilots can switch between these modes to suit the flight conditions, just like you would shift gears in your car to adapt to changing road conditions. This flexibility allows pilots to customize the autopilot system to the specific needs of the flight, ensuring a safe and comfortable journey for everyone on board. So, how do pilots decide which mode to use, and what happens when they switch between them? That's what we'll explore next. Vocabulary: altitude, heading, autopilot modes. What if the autopilot system is like a highly advanced navigator, constantly needing to know where the plane is and where it's going? How does it actually get all that information? The answer lies in a network of sensors that are distributed throughout the aircraft, kind of like how your smartphone uses GPS and accelerometers to track your movements. These sensors provide the autopilot system with a constant stream of data about the plane's speed, altitude, and direction. It's similar to having a bunch of highly accurate, high-tech messengers constantly reporting back to the autopilot, saying we're at 30,000 feet, we're heading due east, or we're flying at 500 miles per hour. And just like how your phone uses that data to guide you to your destination, the autopilot system uses this information to make adjustments to the plane's flight path in real time. This allows the plane to stay on course, even in changing weather conditions or when flying through busy airspace. And here's the part most people don't know. These sensors are incredibly reliable and are constantly checked and rechecked by the autopilot system to ensure that the data they're providing is accurate. So, with all this data at its disposal, the autopilot system can make incredibly precise adjustments to the plane's flight path, which is essential for safe and efficient flight. Want to know how the autopilot system actually uses this data to control the plane? Vocabulary: accelerometer, altitude, autopilot, sensor. So, you're probably wondering, what happens when the autopilot is actually flying the plane? Are the pilots just sitting back and relaxing, or are they still involved in the flight? The answer is, even when the autopilot is engaged, the pilots are still very much in the loop, closely monitoring the flight and making adjustments as needed. Think of it like using cruise control on the highway. You might set the speed, but you're still keeping your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road, ready to intervene if something unexpected happens. It's similar with autopilot. The pilots are still watching the instruments, checking the navigation, and monitoring the plane's performance, ready to take control if the autopilot needs assistance. And here's the important part. This human oversight is a crucial safety net, because while autopilot systems are incredibly advanced, they're not perfect, and they can't replace the judgment and experience of a trained pilot. So, even though the autopilot is doing the flying, the pilots are still very much in charge. And that's what makes the system so safe and reliable. And that's a key point to understand about how autopilot really works. It's not a replacement for human pilots, but a tool that helps them fly the plane more efficiently and safely. Vocabulary: oversight, intervene, navigation, performance. While autopilot systems are incredibly advanced, they're not perfect. They can't handle every situation. Think about it like a driver assist feature in your car. It helps with acceleration, braking, and steering, but still requires you to be alert and ready to take the wheel if needed. For instance, severe weather is one case where autopilot isn't enough. High winds, heavy rain, or even thunderstorms can make flying conditions too difficult for autopilot to handle safely on its own. In these situations, pilots step in to manually control the plane to ensure the safety of everyone on board. And here's the surprising part. Sometimes air traffic controllers give instructions that are too complex or changing rapidly for autopilot to follow accurately. Pilots stay vigilant and ready to take over when necessary. But don't worry, this isn't a big problem because pilots undergo extensive training specifically to handle these situations. They know exactly how to work with the autopilot system, ensuring it does its job while they make sure everything is running smoothly. So, can autopilot really fly a plane? To answer your question, autopilot can indeed fly a plane, but it's not a replacement for human pilots. It's a tool that assists them in flying the plane safely and efficiently. Think of autopilot like a highly advanced co-pilot, constantly monitoring the plane systems and making adjustments as needed. And here's the surprising part. Autopilot can even help reduce pilot workload, allowing them to focus on other critical tasks like navigating through busy airspace or handling emergency situations. By understanding how autopilot works, you can appreciate the complexity and sophistication of modern air travel. It's incredibly rare for autopilot to be engaged for an entire flight, as human pilots are always monitoring the systems and ready to take control if needed. This combination of human skills and automated systems is what makes flying so extraordinarily safe. And now that you know how autopilot really works, you'll never look at a plane the same way. If you'll never look at a plane the same way, you know what to do. Subscribe to our channel for more explanations and insights into the fascinating world of aviation. Vocabulary: autopilot, sophistication, workload, emergency.